Do you ship any characters?
I'd like to see Zeke and Dromag together. I just think they're a match made in heaven. I'm Daniel Barker. I'm the voice actor who played Zeke in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Yeah, there's the Zeke voice in case if anybody wants to hear it, in case I need to prove who I am. Obviously, there was a lot more shouty in the actual game, but yeah, I'm always willing to talk about it. I mean, that's part of the fun, especially when nobody can see your real face. So.
Absolutely. I have to say, I mean, that was incredible, by the way. Just to hear that again, it was for me, and I know for a lot of us. Like I'm on the Xenoblade Amino right now. I've been talking with that community, and you were one of the standout performances on the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 dub, the English dub. And one of the most commonly asked questions, I guess, from the Amino was, how did you stumble upon the job? Had you done video game stuff before? Was this your first one?
I actually did all of the voices for a game called Not a Hero, which is like a 2D platformer game.
You know, that actually sounds familiar.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you definitely know your games. It's I mean, judging from the games I can see in the background, but this was like obviously a PC and PlayStation released by a small developer called Roll7, and I did all the voice. That was the only other game I've ever done. I usually do commercials. I've done a few films. I'm a YouTuber myself, and I do comedy characters and stuff like that. And I've done appeared in a couple of comedies on TV here and there, but voiceover is my main thing. And for this, I got an audition. I've done a lot of auditions for games, and this one just I kind of had this voice, this thing which is actually usually one of my hipster characters from my live Edinburgh comedy show, and his name's usually Xavier Landing, but I brought him out for this, made him a bit more over the top like they asked, and then it went. That was Zeke, and that's how it happened. Managed to get the part.
That's absolutely brilliant.
I'm a huge gamer and fan of games, so it was. I was like very excited to finally get into an actual game, like a major game. I mean, the Not a Hero was great, but I guess it wasn't the same as being in a game that millions of people would play. So I was very happy to finally break through the screen.
So were you familiar with the Xenoblade series at all before jumping into this one?
I was familiar with it, but only kind of through research, and because I know a lot about games to an extent. So I'd seen it before. I knew the name, and the thing is, when I was auditioning for the game and going in, I didn't know what the game was. It was all it's all confidential. So I had no idea what it was, but I tried to Google my way through it and try to find something. To be honest, no, I didn't know much about the first one. As soon as I found out what game I was in, I immediately researched it. And I knew it was a JRPG. That much was pretty apparent from what I was saying and what the characters were doing. And I played Final Fantasy VII when I was very young, and I played Zelda. I mean, to be honest, when it comes to games, I'm like a filthy first-person shooter gamer.
Hey, they exist.
They do. I mean, yeah, I'm a basic bitch,
So,
but I'm a very passionate, dedicated strategy gamer, FPS gamer, and playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is probably the first JRPG I've properly played through. So
you did play through that after you finished doing the voices?
Oh yeah, of course.
So start to finish.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't even completed it yet, but I have got to Z. I did actually play Phantasy Star Online on the Dreamcast. I guess you could call that a JRPG.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a very famous one. We don't get them localized anymore. It's a bit of a pain. But so how was it hearing yourself in the game then?
I don't know. To be honest, I'm always judging my delivery. Whenever I hear myself, I judge my own performance so intensely. I can't help it. Like I really can't enjoy it. Sometimes I'm pleasantly surprised, and I think, wow, like the director really managed to squeeze that out of me. I'm glad he pushed me there. And I find it so inherently surreal and bizarre that my voice is coming out of this like one-eyed kind of anime heartthrob. It's so inherently entertaining that it's just kind of a joy. So it's mainly kind of judgment and a bit of joy.
And how were you with some of the lines? I know there were Zeke had some of the funnier ones or some of the more out there ones. Did you have a favorite yourself, or were you ever sort of cringing as you were reading?
I mean, I don't know. There's some of the lines in the game. I mean, they're outrageous. You know, some parts of this game, I'm amazed that they that they made it out into wider society, given the you know, how easily things can slide into a Twitter shitstorm these days. Anything remotely controversial. But it seems like this game and lots of other games like it kind of do exist in a kind of parallel world where you can still say what you want and do what you want, and it's all good fun. And I'm all for freedom of expression. So I don't know what the original question was, but what was the original question?
It was you were ever cringing at some point? A lot of people quote the one line, oh yes, that's more like it. Keep it coming.
Keep it coming, pal. Yeah, a lot of pals. I think that there was. Which one do you fancy most? That was pretty low. It was a pretty real low point for Zeke. It's still funny though, because he's so ridiculous, and I liked his. I mean, cringe wise. No, maybe that line. Yeah, I mean,
well, that sort of leads into a next bit of a question. Do you share any personality traits with Zeke?
Well, I'd say I definitely do. I mean, all the characters and voices that I create and come up with, or for me, are all expressions of different kind of parts of me. Like, I've got a character called, a voice called Lawrence, who's based on he's a gamer, basically. Very patronising in many ways, and he's based on my my inner gamer who just thinks he's better than everybody else and has to be top of the scoreboard and has to pwn the noobs and avoid the dreaded day orb at all costs. But then Zeke came from a kind of they're all parts of me I hate, but he came from part of me the kind of the avocado eating hipster who, just beyond reproach and completely out of touch with reality, and a bit spoiled, really, a bit of a first world problems kind of guy. And for me, that hipster part of myself, for some reason, it's because of the ads. You've got these adverts with hipsters and cool guys with beards, and it's kind of all become it's all been formed by the media into this fictional idea of what a cool guy should be, but it's complete junk. Anyway, there's a part of me that is like that, so that created my character Xavier, which isn't really out there anywhere, but then I used that voice and then adapted it to this Tantal Prince, i.e. Zeke. It's just one step removed.
Yeah, so how much, when you were reading for Zeke, how much were you given? A lot of information, or was it just very, very minimal?
When I was first reading for it, it was like, yeah, I knew he was young. I knew he was kind of privileged. They wanted it to be kind of Rick Mayall meets Jack Whitehall. And Rick Mayall's very kind of like that, very lippy and shouty, and because I played Hogs of War, which you might know, and that had Rick Mayall in it. And Jack Whitehall is all, a bit stupid, a bit posh.
So I can't not see Jack Whitehall now when you do the Zeke voice. I can't not see it.
He knew me through the family, through mother, and then my mum. He knew me through mother.
Well, that is a fate worse than death. I mean, whatever you can do to unsee Jack Whitehall's face, I advise that you do it.
Oh man, I'm sorry, I'm so unorganized. There are like a million questions. One that pops up constantly is who did you voice in the Minions movie?
Oh, I just did some extra
just
background
Minions.
Voices. Yeah, there's like a guy in a car, and there's so many voices in those films. And
I can imagine.
Just did some if you could, there's some auxiliary background voices with a few other voiceover actors, and it's a small gig.
Yeah, so
that was very early on.
Do you have a pet turtle, or do you want a pet turtle? And would you name him Turtles?
I did I had a pet tortoise for about an hour once when I was about 6 years old, and found him on the beach, put him in a bucket, took him into the car, then he got taken back. But Turtles, pretty good name. So I didn't name it myself, but I think it was just Tortoise or something, which is pretty close to Turtles. So yeah, why not?
When you were recording, how much direction were you given? Like, did you get to see any of the scenes that were going on, or was it just straight read of a script? Obviously with direction, but yeah.
I mean, I think I'm allowed to talk about this, and like with most games, when it came to cutscenes, I got to see a bit. Everything's in Japanese, but it gives you what's happening and who you are. But I wasn't performing with other actors. I was just performing with the director, Jimmy Livingstone, who, he would direct every line several times over and make sure it was in time, make sure it was the right delivery, and basically just keeping my energy levels up, because like if they drop, it just doesn't work, because the lines are delivered and broken up in that way, matching the Japanese, and you've got to keep the quality's got to be there, and the pronunciation. And Zeke's the big character, so you can't. Maybe in the heart-to-hearts you can bring it down a bit, throw it away a bit, but the main lines of the character had to be pretty much perfect, really. So he was directing it at every point.
Yeah, it's interesting to know that you did get to actually see the cutscenes as well. It has been a big question about the voiceover in general. Because a lot of people, and there are some comments as well, not specific about your performance, but the voice acting in general. People, like to talk about bad lip syncing a lot, which as a JRPG gamer myself, it stands to reason you can't match up the Japanese lip syncing. But you just can't tell a lot of people that. But adapting that, it must be tricky.
Yeah, I think it's virtually impossible. They're totally different languages, but I just think it's part of the charm. I don't think anybody really gives a damn. I think it's like anything that's come from one culture to another. I think we accept that that has to be done. And I think good voice acting. Yeah, it doesn't really matter if it's good. It's good. If it's lacking, you'll feel it. You just feel it. Because so much of a game is in its sound, really. I mean, so with so many games, whatever game you think of, it's make or break. They are different, and it makes it more complicated. It's more of a challenge in terms of timing. But I think a lot of voiceovers are just naturally gifted when it comes to timing. I think it's part of something you learn from having to dub over things and always be within the second.
So did you audition for any other characters, or was it just Zeke?
I did audition for a few others. I don't remember what they were. I remember reading for something and just knowing instantly that it wasn't my strength, and I said, I think I could actually do this one a lot better, and I think that's actually a good tip for anybody in any kind of audition. If you can somehow lead what you want to do and demand or ask for playing to your strengths, I think people actually appreciate it, and it makes you look better. So yeah, I kind of just had a feeling, because I knew I had this voice to do something with, and that it would match up. So I just wanted to get it out, really.
Do you have, I mean, this is obviously, we're coming on social media here. I have noticed you're a bit of a silly guy yourself, so you might have some of these in mind, but do you have any ships among the cast? As in, do you ship any characters? If you're familiar with that term.
Ship?
So do you really want to see two characters together?
Right, yeah.
With Zeke, or even completely removed from Zeke?
I'd like to see Zeke and Dromag together. I just think they're a match made in heaven.
Brilliant.
So much.
I mean, we get a lot of Zeke and Pandoria for obvious reasons, and I think we even get a bit of Zeke and Mithra, Zeke and Bridget. I think Zeke and Morag. We've had it quite a lot.
Yeah, Zeke and Dromag. Why not? Let's push some boundaries. I mean, that goes way beyond most people's, but it's the 21st century, right? It's 2018. Is it 2018?
I hope so. No, actually, let's go back. I'm getting too old. So, who is your favorite Blade? Or, in other words, who is best girl? I think people really want to know.
Is that which female character am I most physically attracted to?
Or, yeah. But, I mean, it might not also be physically. It could be, mentally attracted. Because, Morag, maybe she's not so hot, but she's a really strong woman. You could be attracted to that.
Fair enough. Personality, all round, it's a difficult question. I'd probably be Pyra, I think.
Pyra. So you're not a Mithra lover. Do you do make that distinction?
Definitely make that distinction. Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know. I just don't think we get along. I think it would be a constant battle.
Yeah.
And I would lose. So.
So, obviously, you've actually already sort of talked about wanting to do video game work, and this one was really exciting. So, are you looking to do more video game work in the future? Do you sort of have maybe slots open with Nintendo for future titles?
I have no idea. I mean, I did do another audition recently for another big game, but didn't get the part that time. Mainly because I just was badly prepared. I thought the character was going to be an old man. I got there, he was a young man. So I warmed up all my old-sounding voices and got in there ready to do an old man.
And they were like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, they said he's 22, and I thought he looked 72 from the picture, and so then I was like, "Wow, I've got nothing. I'm going to have to just pull out something else." And so I just pulled out kind of Zeke, but it wasn't really Zeke. It was just this, young, bustling guy, and you're maybe just like me, but it was terrible, absolute fail. So you got to be prepared. So no other games on the horizon at the moment, but it's highly competitive, and I think maybe I just need to, go to more auditions for these kind of things. Hopefully somebody will appreciate the Zeke performance, might get me an audition or something. I mean, that was what the last one I got was about. So I don't know. Fingers crossed, because it's something I do want to do,
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's definitely, people should be impressed by that Zeke performance. I think it was standout. It's
I mostly do. I do my own radio. I do a radio comedy show on the BBC here, on Radio 4, and I do, I do a lot of commercials. Really, that's my main thing. So the game work kind of comes out of the blue because of the other type of work I'm doing. So, but I'm so passionate about it. I do want to focus on it.
It is. It's also trickier for video game voiceover work in particular in Europe. In the JRPG genre, I think especially though. I think I made a video about the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 voiceover being jarring for some people because it is like a 50-50 split. Some people said I can't even handle it, like they couldn't handle Rex, they couldn't handle anyone. I need to play in Japanese, and it's just because that we really don't hear many European accents in JRPGs. It's almost all entirely done in the US with straight US accents. So it's definitely something that we want to see more of.
Well, I think that, I liked. I mean, I've listened to the voiceover in the first Xenoblade, and that had a really nice mix of both British and American. And I like it when they mix it up. I mean, I don't like too much UK, and I can understand that some UK accents would be very alienating to people who aren't from the UK. It's like hearing a kind of colloquial Swedish accent would be painful for me.
Do you prefer voice work more than, like you're saying, doing commercials, or is your commercials voice work as well? So one of the questions was, do you prefer voice acting or stage acting?
Oh, right. I mean, I like acting on camera. That's my absolute favorite, because then I've got a bit of sound acting and a bit of stage acting in one. So I really love acting in front of a camera and then being able to cut it and control it myself. Then I like voice acting second, and I've been doing that since I was a child, and I've been doing it professionally for 6 years. And then after that, last would be live, and I've done a fair amount of live performance and done 4 Edinburgh shows, which is performing for 28 days in a row, and I've done a lot of gigs in London and stuff like that. But that just emotionally and physically does me in. It's just absolutely exhausting. So I tend to cut down on that as much as possible.
Absolutely. So we've been through a lot. I pretty much went through everything there. We answered pretty much everything in one way or another, which is surprising to me. Thank you a lot for doing this. Do you want to let us know where we can see you on YouTube and that kind of thing?
Yeah, sure. I've got a YouTube channel called Damien Slash, which is the brand character pseudonym of my comedy work. There's a bunch of characters up on there and stuff like that. My Twitter's Damien Slash. My Instagram is Damien Slash as well. It's the pseudonym I live with. And yes, that's where you can find me. And I've got a Radio 4 show coming this summer called the Damien Slash Mixtape Series 2. And yeah, that's about it, really. I mean, voiceover-wise, I'm known as Daniel Barker, but you can find
Damien Slash is a pretty damn cool name, though. It's a cool pseudonym.
So yeah, I came up with it when I was 14, and now I have to live with it. Because you build up a few fans around it, and now you can't change it. I mean, I should just go back to Daniel Barker. But
yeah, Daniel Barker's not so bad of a name to begin with. You didn't really need a pseudonym.
No, you see, I was scared. I was a scared teenager, so it was a way of getting into the internet.
Absolutely. So I'll have links for everything. I'll have links for your YouTube channel, everything like that in the video description on the screen when it comes up when you guys are watching this video. Yeah, thanks a lot for that.